Hi, everyone, and thank you so much for tuning in to this week's training session. I'm Thomas Hyman, founder, and today I want to talk about using technology to automate business processes. And this is going to be a maybe half an hour session, and I'm going to expose you to some tools that are free, some tools that are extremely low cost, as well as some more sophisticated tools, some of the tools I'm using myself. Basically, in the past, if you wanted to automate certain processes, you had to hire a software developer to write programs, to take X and do Y. Average real estate professional or professional in general, we really were limited to certain applications. So you have, an ACT contact management application or some kind of CRM, customer relationship management application, maybe using Top Producer. And there are a couple of functionalities within those. But other than that, automation really is something that didn't exist. You have a lot of manual processes, maybe sending out messages, acknowledgments to people, or forwarding a property flyer to someone, or forwarding a listing agreement, or what have you not. And these are all manual steps. Now, some of you have started to hire virtual assistants, VAs, in the Philippines or India or Pakistan, which is a great way to inexpensively have repetitive work done. And a book that I highly recommend is The 4-Hour Workweek by Tim Ferriss, that will give you some ideas how you can really compress your time by outsourcing a lot of repetitive stuff, literally for pennies on the dollar. And when I had a title company that was doing short sale processing for hundreds of agents and brokers throughout the state of Florida, we actually hired dedicated assistants in India to do a lot of the repetitive paper pushing work that we didn't have to pay an admin person for. So if you can pay someone $6 an hour to do work that normally would cost you $20 an hour, it's a great saving. But today I want to talk about using very simple technology tools to automate tasks. And that's something that really has come along just in the last couple of years. So today you're able to use free tools to applications to execute things based on what happens in another application. And the first tool I'm going to talk about or show you is a tool called If This Then That. And it's a free tool, and it basically a trigger. So if this happens in one application, let's say you get an email from a certain person, or you have an alarm set, or you get a call, or you miss a call, or you get a text message, then do that. So and all these tools really are very simple triggers and then executors. And the brilliance here is that someone else, in this case that company, has taken the time, the work to create APIs and that allow different applications to talk to each other. And so I'm going to take a look at that. Then I'm going to take a look at an application called Zapier, which also has a free, they have a very inexpensive plan above that. And Zapier has more mature tools to connect to enterprise applications. And then finally, I'm going to show you what we use ourselves, Infusionsoft, which is a full-blown marketing automation tool, and I'm showing you how we're automating things there too. And the imagination really is your only limitation in terms of what you can do. So if you can take your current processes and draw them out, and then use these tools to automate them, and I'm using all three tools in our business right now, it really can save you some time and money, and you can create a high-touch experience that will just have your clients think, wow, this guy must have an amazing team technology in place. So let's do that, and hopefully it will inspire you to use some of these tools yourself in your business, and just spend some time and dig around and set these tools up. Not technical, don't be intimidated, it's not that difficult. But you can always go to freelancer.com and hire someone for a few bucks to set these up for you if you feel that you can't do it. But really, it doesn't require a lot of techniques to use these tools. So let me go ahead and do a screen share. And we'll get going. So the first tool I'm going to look at here is a tool called If This Then That. And the web address is IFTTT. So it's if and then this, then that. So IFTTT.com. And again, it's a free tool. And if this, then that uses the metaphor of recipes. So they call their connections a recipe. And a recipe really consists of a trigger and then to do something. And the great thing is that both If This and That and Zapier have literally hundreds, if not thousands of recipes that you can use and have to build anything from scratch, really. So let's click here on Browse, for instance, just to give you an idea. So here is a new thing that If This and That started. And do is basically you create a set of actions and then you just trigger them manually and they get executed. And then you have the traditional recipes. And down here are just some recipes. You have, for example, Instagram linked to Twitter or to Google Spreadsheets, Evernote linked to Twitter. And there are literally hundreds, if not thousands, of recipes available. If I click here on If Recipes, then it's going to bring up a list of many, many more recipes that you can use. Something simple like, if you tag on a Facebook photo, you can log it in a Dropbox, get emails for new posts from a Craigslist search. Now, with If This and That, a lot of them are linked to social media like Facebook, Twitter, and tools such as Google Docs, Gmail, Dropbox, and the like. You can, for example, if you store an email, it automatically adds them to your Evernote, which is another free note-taking and storage tool. And actually talked about Evernote in a webinar training session that we did about document storage. You can have your contacts automatically backed up into a Google spreadsheet. So here is a really long line of recipes that are already available here. And I want to show you two things right now. First of all, we have channels. And channels with If This and That are basically the tools that you can use as a trigger or as a task, as a that to do something, okay? So these are all the applications that are supported within If This and That. So you have channels for recipes that already exist using these applications, okay? So for example, Android SMS, different applications, Box, Blogger, Date and Time, different emails, Dropbox, Evernote, Facebook groups, Pages, Flickr, Gmail, Google Calendar, Google Docs. So these are all these different iOS contacts, locations, notifications. So these are all of the different type of channels that are available. And let's just click into one. Let's click on the Gmail channel and just see what's there. So here you have some popular Gmail recipes. And if you wanted to use Gmail, you have to activate this channel. And so here are some of the Gmail recipes: Save Star Gmails to Evernote, add incoming receipts spreadsheet, blink when I get a new email, note to self. I mean, there's just many, many, many triggers available. So let me show you what I have done with if this, then that. And to be honest, some of the things here are used for business, others are used for personal stuff. But I, for example, automated, if I change my Facebook picture, it'll also change it in Twitter automatically. LinkedIn, I use LinkedIn. So if somebody in my LinkedIn contacts and I got, a couple of thousand, gets a new job, it'll just congratulate them automatically. I keep a log of SMS messages I received, so I can then search a history of all SMS messages received in my Google Docs or Google Drive. I also do the same thing for phone call log. So anytime I get a phone call, it'll put it into the Drive folder. I created one. If I get a call and I miss it, then automatically an SMS message is sent to them. I'm sorry I missed your call. I'm going to, if it's urgent, then just please send me an SMS message. And let me just click on this here so you can see what it looks like. I basically went ahead and used a recipe that existed. And this here was, any phone call missed, send an SMS message to the from number. And the receipt title is, sorry, I don't get voicemails. Missed calls get an SMS. That was just a receipt that I found. And I went ahead and customized it. And so I got the from number here. And then my message is, sorry, I was not able to answer your call or respond as soon as possible. If urgent, then please. And so you can customize recipes that are existing. So you don't have to build something from scratch. You can just find a recipe that is along the lines of what you need to do. And then you can just tweak it. Now here's one that I'm using. It creates a log when you arrive and leave work. So I just, out of curiosity and also to track business mileage and things like that, I took that recipe and I just customized it. So when I get to or leave our office address here, then it's going to put a note into the work log, which is on my Drive folder path, the IFTTT folder /work. And it runs smoothly like clockwork. Also, this is a personal one. If I get tagged in a photo or something, it'll add it to my Dropbox account. So this is what I'm doing with if this, then that. And haven't played with do, so that's why I don't have anything here. This just came out, so I'm going to play around with this. And basically you build recipes or action items that you can then launch physically with a button on your mobile app. So I strongly suggest you take a look at this. Is if this, then that. And again, the address for this is IFTTT.com. Now, the next item I want to take a look at is Zapier. Zapier is an amazing tool that is if this, then that, but it has hooks into enterprise applications to let you do more productive things on a business side. So if I cannot do it with if this, then that, I'm using Zapier. And Zapier basically uses, instead of a recipe, they use the term Zap. So every combination of action is called a Zap, and they charge you based on how many Zaps you run. They have a free service where you can run so many Zaps per month, and then they got a for-fee service. So it's very inexpensive. I don't think you would spend more than $10 a month to run several Zaps. So here are some of the things that are available. So these are the apps. Which apps do you use right now? And there are hundreds of apps. So just the favorite apps here, some most popular: Google Calendar, Trello, Evernote, MailChimp, Google Drive, Asana, Twitter, Salesforce, RSS, WordPress, Google Contacts, LinkedIn, Infusionsoft, GitHub, Pipeline, Google Tasks, I mean, it just goes on and on and on. Zendesk, Eventbrite, OneDrive, QuickBooks, Facebook, Google Sheet. So QuickBooks, for example, if you wanted to have a Zap that, when a new contact is created or added to a certain your MailChimp, for example, to create a customer record and create an invoice in QuickBooks. And so you can automate all of these things. And imagination is the only limiter. Box, PayPal, if you want to send a message out. It's funny, they got a Zapier link to create delayed triggers. Shopify. So there's a long, long list of applications that they have here that you can build Zaps with, and this list just goes on and on and on. So you have really hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of applications that are supported with Zapier that allow you to really build enterprise type of links with Zapier. And I'm going to show you how I use it in our business right now. And I'm going to be adding more Zaps. But let me go to my dashboard here. And so here is, for example, what I do. When we set up a referral partner, I'm sending a training video to them. So the trigger comes from Infusionsoft, and then it sends the training video out through our BombBomb account. A Realty Partner affiliate added to the BombBomb affiliate list. If we make a contact dead in Infusionsoft, it unsubscribes them from BombBomb. When there's on our website, I'm sending them a personalized welcome video email through BombBomb. So that trigger is from Infusionsoft, then a certain tag is applied, and then it runs the action in BombBomb to send that video message. So you could use that, for example, as an agent. If you have a BombBomb account, created half a dozen videos that get triggered at certain times. You can create a drip and use something. You could create a drip in BombBomb to just send video emails. Let's say you sent MailChimp, you could have MailChimp trigger after so many days to send out video this. So there's just an infinite number of things. And odds are your CRM solution is supported by Zapier. So I would take a look at that. Agent team members to our BombBomb list. So when we send out weekly video updates to our agents, we have that list automatically maintained in BombBomb, but we don't have to manually add the information into BombBomb. It just gets pulled from Infusionsoft and automatically written to it. Also, we want to have leads that come in automatically added to a Google contacts. So that's happening here. So Infusionsoft, the leads are added automatically into Google Contacts. So there really is, it's an unlimited number of items here, and let's say we need Zap just to see how easy it is with Zapier. And with Zapier, you have a list of Zaps to pick from, or you can just create Zaps from scratch. And not too long, so let me log back in. So I'm going to make a Zap now. And it's very simple. So you start out, you can use the Zap book, which are existing Zaps, and just customize them, or you can look for a trigger. And I don't know if, well, let's just use Infusionsoft because that's something I'm familiar with and we're using. And let's just say if you had MailChimp, I don't use MailChimp, but here are the two applications. This is the trigger, so I can pick a trigger when I add a new opportunity, when a new contact is added for the first time, when a tag is added to the contact for the first time, when a contact subscribes to a plan. So these are all the different triggers. When any of these things happen, okay, so let's say when a contact subscribes to a plan, then in MailChimp, we'll do this. We can add them as a subscriber to a specific list, or we can unsubscribe them. So if somebody becomes a customer here, we can take them out of the prospect or vice versa. And then you just continue and you verify the accounts, and that's that. So it's really, really simple to do. And again, the name of the application is Zapier. It's ZAPIER.com. And I highly recommend you play around with it. Like I said, it's free at the initial level. And even if you pay for it, it's very, very inexpensive. I don't think you're ever going to pay more than 10 or 15 bucks a month. I mean, unless you have tens and tens of thousands of Zaps that are running. All right. So those two tools that I showed you are free or almost free tools to connect applications together. And that's the first and most fundamental way to automate things when you look at automating tasks and activity. It's taking one application and another application that you use and connecting them. So if this happens over here, then that happens over there. Now, the next step to automation, which is a step beyond that, is marketing automation within an application, where you have one application, different things. When somebody clicks on this, then you do that. When somebody opens an email, then you do something else. When they apply a tag, then it sends an SMS message and so forth. And I just want to give you an idea what we're doing, and I use Infusionsoft. Infusionsoft is an application you can get yourself. It starts for as little as $200 a month. And goes up from there. And you do need to program some things within Infusionsoft. I'm just showing you right now our own application, our campaign builder. We have different campaigns. I mean, we have many, many dozens of campaigns set up, for example, for agent calls or follow-up calls, and based on different choices during the call, it'll take different actions. Or here we have our buyer prospect campaign, for example. So when somebody comes into Infusionsoft, it automatically also creates a record in Commissions Inc. And then we kick off a campaign. And a campaign can include timers, emails, notes, tasks, schedules, et cetera, et cetera. So here in Infusionsoft, for example, you don't use different applications as in, okay, if this happens in Google Docs, then do this in Facebook, or if this happens in Twitter, then do this in Google Drive, in MailChimp. Within Infusionsoft, you just group together different activity and string them out. So you have two parts to the automation sequence here. The first part is over here, kind of like the if-then scenarios, where you may have a web form and a task or an activity, and then based on what happens, if they click here, it goes there. If they click there, it goes somewhere else. If they open an email, do this. If they don't open the email, do that. So you have these type of triggers, and then within the campaign, you have activities. So for example, here the campaign starts, and we'll wait a few hours. Then we'll send a welcome email. Then it applies a note to the contact record that the email was sent at least a day. Then the agent that owns that record is sending out a personalized email. Then we'll wait 1 week and apply a tag, and that tag will trigger something else. And the campaign just goes on. And within Infusionsoft, you can string along everything from simple email messages to build drip campaigns to tasks. And then if a task is completed, it'll trigger something else, to tags. And tags are used to segment certain activities. You can have SMS messages to be sent out to the contact. You can have send out triggers where a card is sent out to a contact. You can have timing delays, either wait this many hours or this many days until a certain date happens. And so within Infusionsoft, we use marketing automation to basically take a prospect or lead that comes into our pipeline, and all the way through, way past closing, if they're a buyer or seller, or way past becoming a member, if they're a agent prospect, let's say, for example, we have activities scheduled that are automated based on what happens here. So if they click on something, if they do something, if they don't do something, it brings up, you know, a different string of actions that take place, and it's very, very powerful. And we have literally dozens and dozens of different campaigns set up and programmed to automate you know, every imaginable aspect of our business, from onboarding new agents to our marketing, our lead generation, our lead follow-up, contract to closing, post-closing, et cetera, et cetera. So I hope that you got a couple of good ideas and a little bit of an inspiration with respect to using technology to automate your business. Again, you don't need to be a techie mastermind to use these tools. Zapier is super, super easy to use, and really it takes something that required a programmer in the past writing an API or an application protocol interface for two applications to connect to each other, to now just using Zapier as the go-between and connecting these applications directly with each other. If this and that works very much the same way. Zero programming skill required. And again, there are literally hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of applications that are supported. So I would suggest mapping out your workflow for different activities that you do with different applications. So let's say you use Gmail and you send different kind of emails at certain intervals, or to do certain things, or to remind people of certain things, or you send SMS messages, or you create tasks and so forth. And then you can map out your process and look at how you can automate it. So you could, for example, if this happens using if this and that, you could create a task in Google Task. And then if that task gets completed, it'll trigger an email to go out or some other kind of activity. The same thing with Zapier. So you can really, on a shoestring, build some very, very complex automated campaigns to help you automate your business. And just imagine if, let's say, you had a campaign set up where there is a task in Google Task to schedule an inspection. And when that task is completed, then also automatically an email is kicked out to your customer and let them know that's been ordered. So again, your imagination really is the limitation. I hope you had a little bit of an inspiration. And again, the tools are IFTTT.com, Zapier, Zapier.com, and then the automation on steroids, Infusionsoft.com. Check it out. And hope you're having an awesome week until I talk to you again next week for our next Real Estate Keys to Success training series. Take care. Thank you so much.